Hi everybody, and welcome to kind of part two of the BoHo Journal one. This time it's kind of a step sideways, if you like. I realised when I was doing the one page that we have sort of completed, this one, that I needed a nice tag or something to put in there. And generally what I do with journals, particularly BoHo ones for some reason, is I kind of make a lot of tags all at one time. So they're all sort of related, excuse me, but very much in keeping with the BoHo theme. So I generally get a largish piece of card and make tags out of the whole thing. And I might do that 2 or 3 times with different colours, different stencils, etc. So we end up, they are different. So for this one, I've got out these are all acrylics, and they're all, I would say, sort of BoHo colours. These these 3 actually are metallics. That's also metallic copper, very BoHo. These 2, I just love the colours. And these, yeah, the purple, I'm not so sure about these ones, or the yellow for that matter. So I might just put them away, actually. And then they're not getting in our way. Now it's just a matter really of applying paint kind of as quickly, well, not quickly, but just willy-nilly as you can, really. And I think one of the best things is a palette knife. I think my palette knife is actually in the kitchen, which is not where I wanted it. So, but anyway, we'll start by, thank you, we'll just put some drops of paint down on your page. Don't have to be any more careful about it than that. And I'm just going to use one of these sponge, you get them in kids shops. I think these were a company called General Finishers who do furniture paint, but anything like that. We're just literally just going to spread the paint, and these just spread it more quickly than a paintbrush, I think. So we'll just use them. So we're just getting a background, we're just building a background. Spreading the colour out. Got a lot of this over here. Once again, I'm working in about 2 inches of room. You don't just go sort of up and down at 90 degrees, go, all over. Make your strokes go all over. So that's nice. That's a nice bright start, isn't it? So I think we'll go for the turquoise next. Let's hope it doesn't blob quite so much. The thing about these very thin coats is they do actually dry really quickly. Because if they didn't, you've always got the problem of the paint merging, and then you're just left with sort of mud where the 2 colours meet, or it can be. Forgot to spread that one out. Don't worry at this stage that, about what it looks like. It's got so many more layers to go. That's pretty dry there, so we'll go ahead with this. I haven't washed my brush, so we're getting this sort of nice purpley colour. Actually, it's gorgeous. That is a really, really, really nice colour. So that's that sort of cyan mixed with that magenta, and it's gorgeous. I won't mind aiming for that colour in future, actually. It's really lovely. Just one of those, as Bob Ross would say, happy accidents that you get along the way. Wow, look at that, it's beautiful. Just going to add a little bit more in the hope that we're going to get a little bit more of that, but really I think it's what's on our brush is going to colour it now. I think this magenta's bone dry, so it's really just what's left on the, yeah, and there's not much left on the brush anymore. So we're getting more of a turquoise colour, which is fine. Because, as I say, they're nice thin layers, they're drying quickly, so we're painting over the top and we're not getting any, it's not running together. That purple colour was because I still had pink on my sponge brush and it mixed with the turquoise, and I love it. Wow, I've just looked up at what you can see and it's so bright. But that's fine, we want colourful for boho, that's what we want, a bit of colour. I think I'm going to have to use a new clean brush now. There we are. I'll just pop that into some water and put some more of this turquoise, and hopefully I'll get just pure turquoise now. I haven't got any more of those large ones, so I'll use this small one, same thing. You're not really caring about, you know, edges overlapping, anything. You're just putting colour down. That's all you're doing. Because it's got layer upon layer to go yet. I mean, you can use any colours that you like. These are pretty much my favourite colours anyway. So I'm quite happy to use these colours. But, you know, if you like reds and yellows and oranges, that sort of palette of colours, that's what you should use. Mr. Fix-It's just brought me some sponge applicators. One or two, eh? We should be all right. We should get through this, I think. The idea is that if you change your brush, then you're not transferring the colour. You know, it's not mixing on the brush. Sometimes it's nice when it does that. Sometimes it's not what you're after. So if it's not what you're after, change your brush. Or, you know, just rinse it out and start again. Not suggesting that you've got as many sponge applicators as I have, because that's just silly. But yeah, you know, you can see we're getting this. Well, I think it looks quite boho already. And when you get a good coverage all over and you're quite happy with it, then you just leave it to dry. Just going to add some more of this turquoise around the place because I really, really like that. I do think it's a very boho colour. So I'm just covering up all the white that I can see. And dragging it when it's got very little paint on it is quite nice. You get a different effect. It's an effect called dry brushing. I mean, obviously we're using a sponge applicator here. But that effect there, like that, is, well, there's too much paint on there for dry brushing, but yeah, like that, that's dry brushing. Bit of a long process this, so if you are intending to do it, I recommend that you set a day aside. Either that or you can do it in stages. It's just when I've got everything out, I just kind of like to get on with it. And I will, you know, at some stage do 2 or 3, 4 maybe even of these boards. Slightly different colours, different ways of finishing them off. And then it gives us a choice when we come to put the tags in the journal, which colourway we think is best. Right, so that's really quite turquoisey, but it has to, you're going to have to leave that for about 10 minutes, just, well, 5 minutes even, just to dry, because otherwise you're going to be dragging what's already there around the place. So we'll give that a little while to dry. So when I see you again, it'll all be dry. Okay, so we've all dried, lovely and dry now. So the next stage is yet more paint, really. So select your colours that you want. I'm going to go back to the pink because I've lost quite a lot of that pink. It got used up in this sort of nice purple colour, and I'm going to use purple, straight up purple. So once again, it is a question of putting little dabs, but probably where there isn't any pink on the background. Just quite smallish ones. And then I'm going to go in with a palette knife and just spread it. And it gives lovely marks that you just can't get with anything else. Just really, really interesting marks. And a little bit of texture as well. You know, if you leave quite thick parts of it, you'll get some interesting texture, which we might be glad of later on. So try and draw it out so you get nice little interesting bits like that. These bits here are nice. So it now has really become very random. There's quite a lot down here. If you haven't got all these colours, don't worry. Choose one colour that you have got that you like and use varying amounts of gesso through it. That way then you'll get different, it'll be monochrome, but you'll have different tones. So that's nice. That's given us some exciting marks to work from. Now I'm going to put the purple straight on, and some of it will mix with the pink and some of it won't. It's quite a dark colour. It's the darkest colour we've got. So just dots around. See how we go with that. We can always add some more if we need to. It does go quite a long way with a palette knife, to be honest. You're spreading it out quite thin on your card. So I'll start with this one up here. I love these marks that you get with a palette knife. I love painting with a palette knife, actually. It's really nice. See how the pink, where we had texture, it's just catching. Palette knife sort of skipping over it, giving us some really nice textured pieces. I'm making this sound quite fancy. It's not. You get a palette knife and you spread your paint out. You know, there's nothing more to it than that. keep your palette knife quite flat to your work and just spread the paint out underneath it. Very satisfying. Where you think you've got too much, just dig in and move it around. Just going to move a little bit of this over here so we haven't got any over here. Purple's a very regal colour, isn't it? It's a really nice colour. Rich. And very boho, I think. I do think all the colours we're using are good for boho. Maybe a little bit down here, because this is going to be cut up into tag size pieces, so you know we want a bit of continuity. I don't think that pink's really wet yet, but that doesn't matter. It'll give us something interesting. Might just need a little bit more in this area. Seem to have missed that bit out somehow. And then after that we just need to let it dry again. It might take slightly longer than the first time because with a palette knife you generally end up with bits that are a bit thicker. And it's a good idea to let it dry really if you can. Otherwise you start making mud. And we don't want that. So yeah, there we are. I'm happy with that. That looks nice to me. Some nice interesting parts to that. Okay, so we leave it there for the time being and come back when that's dry. Okay, so we're all dried, or pretty much dry. There might be a couple of damp spots, but dry enough to proceed to the next stage. And that really is the background done. But there's an awful lot of sort of building up of layers. And I was just having a look to check and see that I like what we've done. These are the sari silks that I've got that I don't want to match with, but I've got them. So I think we're doing all right so far. Right, so next there's stamping, stenciling, sponging, all sorts of things. So I've got out some things that I want to use. Kind of overrun with those at the moment. I've got this stencil, which I know isn't terribly boho, but it is a nice stencil. I've got this, which is my only piece of sequin waste that I can find, and I know I've got yards more of it somewhere. But anyway, that'll do because that's all we've got. And I've got some other stencils as well. I've got this one, which is beautiful. A nice mandala. And I've got this one, which is the corner of a mandala. But I mean, you could use all of it by just flipping it over and over, and you'd get a big circle. But that's not really kind of what we're about. We're just putting these on randomly, filling the space up with interesting pattern. That's all. So I'm just going to make sure I'm always hanging off the edge. And I don't really want to do a square of it. And it's just trying to work out what colour I want. White at this stage, gesso or titanium white acrylic, would look good, would look nice. I think I'm going to go for a little bit of copper. See what happens. Might need more than that, but it's quite expensive, that copper. So, and I'm going to sponge it on using a sponge. You can use your stencil brush or whatever you want, but I'm just going to use this. and just sort of randomly put bits on here and there. Oh, doesn't that look nice? Oh, that looks so nice. Sorry about my scabby old cardigan. It's supposed to be a heat wave here today, so put a nice thin t-shirt on. And the clouds haven't left us all day. So yeah, that's looking, just bringing interest to it already, which is what we want. I think I'm all right doing all of these this way, because this is the way that I'm going to cut the tags. If you want even more interest, keep moving your stencil around. You know, this way, that way, whatever. Put some there, just coming off the top. Oh, these are really gorgeous. Geez, the dog is seeing something vaguely interesting outside, which is great because nothing ever happens here, so he gets quite excited when he does see something. Just one up there. And that's pretty much all that copper used up, so I mean I could put some more out, but make sure we've just used all that's there. Don't want to waste it. Right, so I'm really pleased with that, how that's turned out. It's gorgeous. It's really, really sparkly, iridescent. It's lovely. So another stencil is probably a good idea. Could use this sequin waste actually. Get a nice one with that. So I'll turn my sponge around. You'd think that I was precious of this sponge. It's a bit of bathroom sponge. It's got 2 for £1 in the pound shop, so I'm not particularly precious with it. It's just kind of, oh, I know what I'll do. I won't use that. I'm worried that I'm going to transfer the copper. I'm going to use one of these. These are Cosmic Shimmer. The maker's Cosmic Shimmer. It's called Glitter Kiss. Add a sparkling touch of glittering highlights to your crafting project. Now, I've never used this one before. I have also got a silver, and look at that one, turquoise, beautiful. Definitely use that one. But this one I've never used before, so I'm just going to give it a try, see what happens. It does come with a little applicator in the top, if you can get it out. But I actually prefer to use one of these little sponges that I got from Ali, and for something as little as this, I think we're better off with something quite little to apply it. So it's funny stuff to load up this. It's got a kind of gloopy consistency. But you sort of get it on your applicator and just drag it off on the side of the jar. Let's give that a try and see what's the worst that can happen. So I'm just going to apply it like that. Oh, I see. This is just see-through. It's just glitter. I see. Oh, maybe it has got a bit of colour to it. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but it's super sparkly. Oh, I'm going to proceed with this one. I really like it. And I hope that you can see it. And so load it up again. It seems to be quite clear, unless you've got quite a lot of it. So I'm loading my applicator up really well. Oh, my goodness me, that's nice. That is nice. So you can see we're just adding. This is sequin waste. It doesn't have to be. It can be anything that you've got. Don't like that bit there, so I'll just rub that off. I think that was over the top of came out the side of the sequin waste. If you're doing a bee journal, sequin waste is brilliant because it looks like honeycomb. We aren't doing a bee journal, but I bet you somebody is. I'm just going to turn this around. Put some on here. Need to be loaded up more than I am, I think. I think you need quite a lot, that's what I would say. Quite a lot on your applicator. The most successful ones were where we had most on the applicator. So I'll try and load it up a bit. Oh yeah, yeah, I think that's the secret. That's the secret, guys. You need lots on your applicator. So I don't want too much of this, although I love it so much I don't really care if there's loads. Maybe one right in the middle, and that'll do us, I think, with that. Ooh, that is a lot. I'm going to have to come back to that, I think. Try and take some of that off if I can. No, it's on to stay. Well, look at that, isn't that lovely? I don't know if you can see oh, look at it. It's marvellous. It's so boho. So you can see as we keep adding layers, layer upon layer, really the background and all the brush marks and everything that you were worried about, they become of no consequence really, because you just keep adding to it. And even after we've done all of this and cut out the tags, we still add to it. So for the time being, there isn't a whole lot that I can do. I've got very, very glittery fingers. I'm just going to leave that to dry. I've no idea how long this stuff takes to dry. It could be 24 hours, it could be 2 minutes, don't know. But I'll join you straight away as soon as it's dry. Right, okay, so finally this Cosmic Shimmer's dried. It did take quite a while actually in the areas where I'd got it a bit too thick. Sort of an hour-ish probably, that period of time. I'm going to put it back this way, which I think it's facing that way. And I've looked at some stencils that I think would be quite nice on it. I quite like these leaf ones. Some of those I think might look quite nice. And I've also got out a flower one, which I think would be good. And also that one, maybe not so much that one. Don't know really. Oh God, I don't know. I only really want to I want to use this Cosmic Shimmer in this bright turquoise colour, and I only really want one lot of stencils on it. So I don't know whether to use that one. Oh my goodness. Or the leaves. But then thinking about it, I think this one might be even more boho than all of them. It's really quite nice, that. Thinking. I think the leaves No, I'll say no. They look lovely, but I'll say no. This one I think could be really, really effective. But yeah, I think this one might be just that little. Which one? Which one? Which one? Yeah, I think I'll go with this one. It's just really pretty, and there's going to be quite a lot of this colour. So yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's do it. Now you have to get the applicator. As you see, that's the applicator, and you just put it into your pot again, draw it off on the side, and go round. So it's, you know, not a complicated procedure. It's just as you'd stencil anything really. It's just this cosmic shimmer is fantastic. I love this stuff. I really do. And you'll see in a minute when I take the stencil off just how divine it is. It's quite thick on there. So, are you ready? Look at that. That's nice. That's very, very, very nice. So I'm going to put another one here. I'm trying to avoid the areas where I've already got something. Obviously, I don't want to cover up what I've already done. And I've got some copper there. It might shine through, I don't know. This is quite an old stencil now. It's one Mr. Fix-It made for me a good while ago now, and it's really been used pretty much exclusively in baseboards, I must say, doing this sort of thing, because it just seems to fit in with almost everything that you do, depending on what colour you do it, obviously. Yeah, this is really coming to life now. I've actually also got some silver. I've got the silver, the turquoise, and that really this glittery one. So I might leave some spaces and choose another stencil and do them in silver. And if you're going to do it, you might as well go completely overboard. And I think that's, yeah, I think we're there. I think we're completely overboard now. But excellent. Very good, I would say. So this applicator is great, and of course you can't lose it because it's part of the top, part of the lid of the jar. I can't speak highly enough about Cosmic Shimmer. In fact, I feel I may have to order another one in pink or something, maybe. So there we go. Oh, I hope you can see how shimmery this is. It's fabulous. Look, there you go. So I'm just making my way across here with this stencil. I'll put one there, I think. That space there could do with a bit. Oh, we've got this copper though. I'll come down a little bit. Or across. Yeah, to there. To me, to you, to me, to you. It's just you know, you have to allow time, as I said right at the beginning, because there's drying time. You've got to allow it drying time, or you're going to end up in a right holy mess, which is not what you want. Just need a little bit more pigment. Right, I think that's probably enough of that particular one. This is going to make some really mega, I tell you, tags. Pop that in the top. It does need rinsing out after you've used it. Rinse it out in warm soapy water and it comes all clean again, ready to use the next time. So I'm going to use this silver this time, in an attempt. You can see I've used quite a lot of this one. It's nearly finished. But every time I've washed my sponge and it's come up really clean, so I'm proud of myself for doing that. So I'm going to use this one now, just in sort of little spaces where I can see there isn't really much going on. So there's a bit down here. Let's put some silver in there. Charge my applicator up. It doesn't matter if you're not the world's best stenciler. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, I've got a gap up there in the top, but I want it going this way, so I'll just put that down there like so. Probably got enough already on my sponge. No. Ooh, that's a lot. All on the edge, I don't need it there. Looks like I've already started with that one. There we go. Apparently you can stamp with these as well. I've never done that. In fact, I've never used them for anything other than this. But I think they have more uses than I put them through. There's a little gap here as well, actually. Here's the top part, just a bit different. So you see, we're just building up our background. Building. Lots of interest. There's a gap here too. Fabulous. I'm just going to put the tiniest bit down this side. I mean, it might get cut off completely. I don't know. That's the sort of thing of it. You don't know where your tags are going to be cut from. So just treat it all as one piece. I think I'm all done this top end. I might get one in there, I think. Might actually get a whole one down there. It'll come over that copper, but it'll be alright, I think. Just put my hand in that. So after I've got this on, it's yet more drying. Just got to wait for it to dry. This doesn't take that long. It won't take as long as the really, really clear, sparkly stuff that we put on, called Glitter Kiss or whatever it's called. It's gorgeous. I love it. There we are. There's a little bit of, don't know, bit of stuff coming over the side. It doesn't really matter. It's obviously just been on the stencil before. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, everything's shiny, so it doesn't really matter. Like I say, it's not the, doesn't matter if you're not the world's best stenciler. Right, I don't think I can realistically get much more on that. I think it's pretty saturated with sparkly stuff. Oh, there's a little gap up there. Let's go for that one then, shall we? In this little, oh, hello. In this little gap. Just there, look. You never know, that might just make all the difference. At the end of the day, you never know. So there we are. Right, just going to set that aside. Well, I'm going to set myself aside. It's going to stay here, and I'm going to go make myself a cup of coffee. Might even make Mr. F one, you never know. And wash my sponge applicators out in my hands. And then come back and see what we do then. But as far as background pages go, I think that's pretty lovely. Okay, so we're all dry. I don't really know in minutes how long it took. It took 1 cup of coffee to dry, and we're bone dry now, so I can get rid of my bits of kitchen towel off my cutting board, and we'll cut it up into some tag shaped pieces. It's really shiny and lovely. I'm hoping you can see everything glistening. I mean, when we put the copper on, we thought that was shiny, and it's now being completely outshone by everything else. But it is still shiny. It's still lovely, that copper. I'm sure you can see, I hope you can see it. Right, so let's chop this up into tags that we think will be useful for us. I'm just going to use, as ever, a quilting ruler and one of these. Rotary cutter, yes, correct, well done. So I'm going to assume this bottom edge is straight. One of the edges is straight for sure. So I'll assume it's this one. I've got stuff everywhere. So you know best what size you want your tags to be. I mean, if you want big journaling cards, then cut them large. If you want smaller, cut them smaller. You know, it's. I'll cut this across at 15. Or no, not 15. Cut it there, because that's on the cutting board, making my life a bit easier. If you haven't tried quilting rulers, I would really recommend them. Fabulous for all paper crafts. I don't know why my words have gone today, they've deserted me, but that's okay. You haven't tuned in to listen to me, tuned in to see this. So let's just get the one there so we can see. I think about, if I make them 3 inches, if I make them 3.5, let's do that. Let's make some at 3.5, because they're quite handy to pop in to smaller pockets, etc. So I'll make some at 3.5 along there. So now you can see it really didn't matter where we placed anything, because things are just being chopped up willy-nilly. Oh, I did that one sideways on, but it doesn't doesn't matter. And this one at 3.5. We sort of had a top to bottom, if you remember, and I've cut that one on the side, but I don't think it's going to make any difference. So cut that one at 3.5 as well. What have I got left here? What's left there? It's about 8.5. So I'll do one at 4.5. So that's nice. That would fit into a page. Do full pocket. And then this one should be about 4, I think. It's not quite 4. Don't know if I'll get 3 3¾ out of it. Yeah, I might just get 4 actually, would I? No. So cut it at 3 3/4. And we'll cut these up. I don't need that huge ruler. Smaller one will do. So that's the top. So I'm going to cut that at 5.5. These are fairly arbitrary. You know, go by what you think you'll use in your journals. And that's just lovely, isn't it? A lovely tag that is. And this one, might get 4.25 out of that. Yeah. You don't really know what you're going to use till you've made all your pockets and everything, but it's nice to have a head start and have a stash of these ready to go. So this one must be about 10 inches, so I'll cut a 5 out. That edge isn't straight, it must be this edge that's a straight edge. And this one, it measures 4.5. So I could get 2 nice 2.25 little thin ones out of there, I think. There we are. This one I'll do it 4 3/4. Yeah, 4 3/4. This one obviously isn't straight along the top, but I can get a 5-inch one out of there. And we've got this one. This is the one that I've kind of cut on the side, but I'm not overly concerned about it. What does it measure anyway? It measures 3.5. Might do several at sort of at 2.5. Give us some smaller ones out of it. And then we're back to being able to use it that way if we want to. What did I cut that at? 2.5. My memory's shocking, guys. It's shocking. I've got too much on my mind. Too many exciting projects. I'm not joking either. I'm always thinking about the next project. So that measures 4.5. So 2.25, I guess, is the way to go. So they're just 2 little ones, but they'd be quite useful in the front of a pocket or something. And that leaves us with this rather big fella here. Is it bigger than 12 inches? Okay, so I'll get this ruler back out again then. Just want to straighten that edge up there because it's definitely not square. Just checking, just checking. Yeah, I think we're okay. Right, so we'll start at the bottom again. Get some out. These ones I want really quite large. So I'm going to, I should have measured how much that was in total. It's about 13, just over 13. So 2 6.5s. That's what I'm going to cut out of here. So they'll be really big journaling cards. I'm not convinced that's exactly square. Yeah, might be okay. 6.5. And this one, I should also get a 6.5 out of there. Right, so we've wasted very, very little there. Very little indeed. And we've just cut out the sizes that we think are going to be useful to us. So we've got some monsters here. Monsters ink. This is the pocket that I did last time. I don't know, they're too big for there. Oh no, look at that. That's beautiful. That's really, really nice actually. Fits in there perfectly. So we know that if we've got any other of these big pockets at the back, we've got a couple of tags that will fit them nicely. Really nice tags. So let's just have a look and see what we've made today so far. We've got loads of little, lovely little, very useful tags. See that copper now, how iridescent it is. Everything's iridescent. It's Sparkle City here. These ones are quite useful as well, I think. Useful journaling size. So from that one piece of card, we've got all of these. And they're pretty much ready to go, but you can decorate them further. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to carry on. So I'm just getting a piece of kitchen towel again, just to protect my cutting board. It is a mess. I know it's a mess already, but I don't want it to get any more of a mess. And I'm going to get my Jane Davenport. I've got some Tim Holtz Distress crayons, and the Jane Davenport ones are actually pretty similar. Might be slightly creamier, actually, the Jane Davenport ones. And they're certainly brighter colours. You know, they're really, really bright. It's not everywhere that you can place them, to be honest. But let's have a go. Let's see if they're going to do what I want them to do. So I'm just going to put that round the edge. I'm doing this before I sew them. I will back them and I will sew them, but I want to do this first. And then you just use your finger just to smudge it in off the edge. And if you need more, add more and do it again. Don't want it too dark though. So that just gives a nice edge to the card. It looks more complete, I think. I think this one, it's probably likely that we're going to have corners on it. Let me just see if I can find my corner marker. I can't, but there's a tag. That'll do. That will do the job. So just which way up? That way up. And I'm just going to take the corners off, and then I'm going to go around with the Jane Davenport again. And This is a tag from the Medieval Mirage kit. I've used a lot of their papers in the BoHo journal. So that, yeah, that's a, looks more complete like that. But just one little bit down here and down there. So we missed that before. So there, yeah. Nice, nice, nice. I like that purple a lot actually with this, but I'm just, out of interest, I'm just going to see what other colours I can get that will stand up. Let's try this magenta, or as Jane calls it, make a moo. These sticks, colour sticks they're called, and they're part of her set or whatever collection that she made that looks like makeup. And I mean, these just really look like lipsticks, don't they? They're good fun. Yeah, that does edge it too. Don't know if I like it quite as much as the purple. Perhaps not. But I don't dislike it. And there's also this, which is a very bright blue. Or there's that one. I'll try this one. It's more of a tealy sort of colour. See what it does for us. Oh, I forgot to cut my lugs in this again. Dear oh dear. What you doing? Just run a little bit of pink around there and down there for the sake of completeness. There we go. So we try this one now. I'm going to put ears on it and make it into a tag. I'm going to lose that copper if I do, but never mind. Never mind, eh? So you can leave them square if you want them as journaling cards. Cut the corners off if you want them as tags. If you can't decide what you want, just leave them as they are and make them up as you go along. Wouldn't be the first thing we've made up as we go along, would it? I don't know what this is going to look like when we get it smooshed in, but quite nice, I think. Yeah, it just, I don't know if you can see it, but it just sort of gives it an edge. You know, it looks more finished than just chopped off. So yeah, I like that. And I'll continue, you know, with all of them. And then what I'm going to do, I'll do this now because it's going to take ages to dry. Is I'm going to add some, as if there's, let's pretend there's not enough bling on there, okay? Just, you know. So I'm going to bring my paper plate forward again and my very valuable sponge, which I think I've now wrecked because I didn't dry it. Oh, it's all right. And I'm going to get this stuff, and it's called Size, Metal Leaf Size. This is Polyvine product that I'm using. There are many, many types of size out there, but I just want to make it clear to you that size and glue are not interchangeable. Size is a special thing that you use for gluing down, well, it says metal leaf. What we're using is not metal, it's some, you know, composite fabric material. I'm not using real gold, guys. I'm just not that rich. But if it needs to say metal leaf size. It's got to say that. And it says, our knowledge, your skill. Oh my goodness me. So let's hope we have some skill, eh? And I'm just, it's like a latex type product, is my best description of it. I'm just going to pour a little bit out onto there. That's probably fine. Just for the purposes of demonstrating this to you, I will go through the rest and finish them off. Oh, here's my cat. Hello, Shady. Hello. And I'm going to apply it with a sponge because I want a fairly sort of random type look, and I want it in this sort of area, I think. Not masses of it. Don't put masses of it on. You'll kind of spoil the effect, really, if you do. So I'm just going to pick some of that up. It's quite runny. And just apply it where I want the... Now then, it's white. As you can see, when it goes on, it's white. When it goes off and it's ready to accept the foil, it goes clear. And when you touch it, it is tacky. It's the tackiest thing in the world. So where do I want this? Maybe a little bit there, a little bit there, maybe, and a wee bit up there. Okay, so it's just little bits. Now this is quite a big area here of just pink. Can't be having that. No. So I'm just going to add some of this across there and a little bit maybe at the top. Oh, a little bit at the bottom. Right, so I'm going to put those somewhere where the cat or the dog or whatever is not going to knock them over, and leave them for about 15 minutes, and all that white will have disappeared and it'll be very tacky to the touch, and then we'll see how we progress from there. In the meantime, I'm going to carry on doing more of my tags and journaling cards, etc. And I'll join you again when this glue's gone tacky. Right, well, I've made all of that piece of card that we had into tags, actually. There's not one journaling card in sight. I've put corners on all of them, including these big ones here. And I've gone ahead and put size on all of them, sponged size. Now then, you have a choice, really. Well, I have a choice. I have both things. You can apply this stuff, which is foil, and it comes in loads of different colours. I haven't got anything like the full array of colours it comes in. But there's silver, pewter, red, green, blue, very, very bright gold, pink, very sparkly, tealy, turquoisey colour, and this slightly darker pink. And I've also got one skanky bit of copper left, but it should still work. As long as you can sort of see there's still some copper colour on it, you're all right, you've got a chance. The other option, well, there's a couple of other options. This is, well, they call it leaf. It's called leaf. It's not, it is leaf, yeah. But gold leaf, you know, that they do in churches and cathedrals and stuff like that, bears no resemblance to this. This is pretend leaf. And it comes in all sorts of colours as well. And it's probably, out of the two of them, this is the most sparkly version. It's more sparkly than that. You see, look at that red. I mean, it's so, it's that mirror finish. So I've got it in red, I've got it in green, I've got it in gold, purple. Let's have a look at that purple, see what it looks like. And they're all sandwiched between sheets of tissue paper to make them easier to get on your piece of work. I think the purple opens this end just to be, yeah, there it is. Look at that. What a regal royal purple that is. But the downside with this is that you get bits absolutely everywhere. But I'll leave it out because I might want to use the purple or the gold, which I haven't got in the foils. And the other thing you can get are these little pots. I get mine at Hobbycraft. Metallic flakes. This one's called Sunset, and it's all sort of coppers and sort of burnished, really. It's really nice mixture of colours, and you can apply that as well. So we've got choices, but we'll start off with the foils because they're the cleanest and the easiest to use. And we'll just bring them over bit by bit. Now I know this is ready because it's gone perfectly clear from when we applied it when it was white, and it's really sticky, really, really sticky. Just ask Mr. Fix It if you can just focus in a little bit and see what we're up to and what we're doing. Oh, it's going to come round here. So for this, I'm going to try and use what's left on this piece of copper, which I appreciate isn't a lot, but you can keep sticking it and sticking it and sticking it till you've covered all your. So put it on, press it down, and then you just rip it off like a plaster. And it's starting to come. It's just, as I say, there's not a whole lot of foil left on this sheet. And you put it so as the shiny side is up, so as you can see the colour. You're almost dying to put it the other side down, but don't, because you'll end up in a mess. So have I got any sticky bits left? Maybe a little bit up there. So keep going till you can feel that you've got no sticky bits left at all on your tag. Like that. That's fine. So I'm hoping you can, yeah, look at that. See the glisten on that? We've got some gleam going on these cards, haven't we? It's ridiculous. So that's one done. So I'll try a different colour on the next one. This is really about had it, to be honest. It's a shame it's the only bit I've got. I'm going to have to renew my stock. So this one, should we try the turquoise on here? Looks quite turquoisey, doesn't it? So we'll give this a go. See, I've used it before for something. I'll start on a new bit, a bit that I haven't used. Just put it down that side, press it down, and where the size is, it will stick. Trust me, it will stick. Don't know if we've got any down. No, we haven't. We've got everything covered here. So as I say, once you've got it down, you just pull it off like a plaster, and look at that. So you see now why I wanted to put it on with a sponge. I just wanted it random and very difficult to paint it on with a brush as random as that. And that's just, it's just lovely. It's just lovely. Oh, all our work today. It's brought us down to this part here. So I think I'll try this, which is, I don't know whether you'd describe that as copper or gold. It's somewhere kind of in between. And I'll use a new bit so as we can be sure we get everything covered. So press it on quite firmly, and then the good bit, rip it off. Oh, that's fantastic. It has to be said, these are really nice. I'm really pleased with these, actually. I'm just going to use that same colour again. I'm just going to use a bit that I've already used, so I might have to apply it a couple of times to get full coverage. Because obviously where the bits have come off before, there's none left to come off onto our project. Maybe a little bit more. I'm not convinced that we've got rid of all the stickiness there. you really want to make sure that you have got something sticking to all your sides, because otherwise it'll stick to everything. You'll end up with your journal pages stuck together and everything. So yeah, there was a ridge down there that I hadn't got. Quite beautiful, really. Quite incredible what you can do with no skill, really. You know, you just slap it on sort of thing. So I'll just put this back. And I'll do a pink. We haven't done a pink, I don't think. I'll do a pink one. I'll use this one onto here. Just check that it's ready to use. Oh, I think there's quite a lot on this one. That should be nice. Oh, that's the best one yet. Oh, it's gorgeous. I'm sorry to keep going on, but they really are very, very pretty. And I know that I've got Jane Davenport crayons and this and that and the other, but there's always ways around things. And you could end up with tags just like this. I think sponging on is a good idea. I recommend that. I recommend this pink as well. It's really nice. It's much easier applying this than it is applying the sheets. I'll show you in a minute what I mean. They're devilish, really, to... Well, they're not devilish to apply. You can get them on. It's just the mess they make. So we'll move on to... I might come back to the foil, actually, because it's an easier way of doing things. We'll do one of these. I'll do this one. So this is sort of... Don't breathe heavily around this. It's light as a feather and likely to go flying. So if you want to sneeze, really turn your head away. So just press this over the areas. You can pick it up with a brush if you want to. But there's some quite biggish pieces that you get in the pots. So make sure you've got all of your sides covered. You don't want to be feeling anything sticky under your finger at all. It's a nice big piece. I've got some down here, I can see it. A little bit up there. Where else have we got any? Oh, some down here. I feel my fingers sticking to it. And some down here. Wow. Wasn't shy with the size on this one. So just, you're not trying to arrange this like a jigsaw or anything. All you're trying to do is get all that size covered. So there's nothing sticky when you run your finger over it at all. So that's all stuck. Oh, there's a little bit there. That's all not sticky, not sticky, not sticky, not sticky. Right, so then you take a brush, any brush but one preferably that's got a bit of firmness to it, and you just knock off the surplus. So I find going round and round works best for me. You can see that you don't get that fine finish that you get with the foil. you get sort of larger areas like this, and you can keep sort of scrubbing at it and you will get more coming off. But you can also over scrub, sort of over burnish, and you lose the sheen of the leaf altogether. Something slightly firmer might work. But you can see what I mean about the mess. It's awful. Drives you batty. You'd be picking it up for days. This has been sponged on the same as the foil, but we're not getting that same effect, really. We're getting chunks of it rather more than the nice mottled effect, although it still looks pretty nice. I think you'll agree. It's very, very, very shiny. Yep, very nice, very nice. So I'll put that away. I've shown you that. You know how that works now. You can use that yourselves if you wish to. Let's try and get what I can back in here. But it's so light. Oh my goodness. What a mess. See if I can brush it back in. Well, that's most of it back in, I think. Oh, there's a big piece there. Oh, stuck to my kitchen towel. So that's basically how that works. So we'll try a piece of the leaf now. Shall we try purple or gold? Let's try purple. So this is how it comes. There's two pieces here, and it comes in between these two pieces of tissue, so you can apply it supposedly quite easily. We'll see how we go, eh? So there's this one here, which is pretty much all down that side. So I'm going to see if I can half this sheet. I'll tear it at least. Put it, oh. See, it's not the easiest thing to work with. If you do quite a lot, you get quite good at it, like anything. But it's a long time since I actually used it, so any skill I might have had has deserted me. So you can pull off the excess bits and just, again, all you're trying to do is cover up the size. So anything that's sticking over the edge, surplus to requirements. Yeah, okay, I'm convinced that's all done. So I've got this other half of the sheet here. There's a big piece there, a lot of size. There. Put that on. Any more for any more? Anywhere? No, oh, there might be a little bit there, I'm not sure. No, I think I've got it all covered. Okay, so I only needed one piece, so let me just put that piece back before it gets ruined. It's not that expensive, this stuff, actually. I got mine off Amazon. It's not as expensive as you might think it is. I can't remember now how much it was. So same thing again, just go round and round, knocking the excess off. Applying a fair bit of force, really. good as I can get it. Lovely. Okay, so I'm literally going to put this whole thing into the bin before it gets everywhere. It's still getting everywhere, but it's not as bad as it would be. And I'm going to say that's enough leaf for today. And I'm going to go back to the foils because they're just so much easier to use. So let's use this one. I think it's all over this side. So, I mean, this is just so much cleaner, it's so much easier. The only thing is, it's not quite as sparkly. I mean, that purple now, you know, I can see it, and it's really, really, really intense. And I'm not so sure that this foil, plastic foil, is as intense. But it's, you know, a close second. It's just so much easier. Now, I'm going to stop after I've done this foiling. But that's not to say that you have to. You can see if we've got all that covered. Oh, I'm at the end of my blue. You can see when you put it on, if you have missed bits, just tiny little bits, the foil sticks to it. And believe me, if you left that, it would stick to your page, your pocket, everything, and, you know, potentially ruin your journal. So make sure that you get everything covered that you can. Only got a couple left to do. Let's use this really vibrant coppery goldy colour. I bought all this foiling stuff from Hobbycraft, so I know it's readily available. It's called, the trade name of it is Foil Art. And you can also get, interestingly enough, you can get pens that have size in them. And they do kits that come with the rolls of foil and the pens. You know, if you want to, I don't know, write your name or a birth date or just make a random pattern up, whatever. The foil, the pens, I'll show you that. This is them, Foil Art Super Tack Glue Pen. And you write as you would write with a pen, and then let it go off and stick your foil on. Exciting, isn't it, the world of foils? That's a nice one. I think we've only got 3 left. Yeah, like I say, I'm gonna finish. I'm going to call these done once I've got the leaf on, foil on. But you could carry on, you could stamp, you could emboss. You know, you could just keep going ad infinitum. I will probably, before I finally put them in my journal, put some trim or something on. Some bling, some trim. Some sort of kind of topper type thing. They really turned out nice, haven't they? Well, says she. I think they have, yes. I probably haven't got very many pink ones, actually, so I'll use some pink. And as I say, once you've used them and your piece is looking like that, don't think that it's wasted, because there's stuff all the way around it. And just keep placing it on, pulling it off, putting it back on until you've got all the tack gone. Oh, I've already done that one. This one, however, hasn't been done. No, definitely not. So we'll do it now. And then that's it, I think. Yeah, you could put stamps on, you know, put embossing powder on them. You could doodle on them by hand if you wanted to, with a Sharpie or a Posca or something like that. As I say, I'm going to more than likely put trim on them and some sari silk. Is that it all? That was a bit long a button. As I say, that is the one thing to watch out for, that you get all your, look at all this where it's sticking that I've missed. Make sure you really, really cover all your sides. That's the golden rule. I'm just not convinced that's... Right, okay, there we go. So, what do you reckon to our tags then? I hope you like them. I hope you feel inspired to make some. And we'll just have a quick canter through them, see what you think, and then off you go and make some yourself. I will back these with coffee stained paper, making a bit of a hash of wrapping this up. I would, if it was me, I would recommend using the leaf. It's cleaner, it's easier. Foil, yeah, foil. It's just cleaner and easier. Oh, there's one there that I've missed. Come on, we've got another one. I'll use this one then. Yeah, it's cleaner and easier, and you don't have all that mess to clean up and contend with. And your dog's not going to look glittery for days, or your cat or whatever, or you. So I'm using bits that's been used already, so I'm going to have to go over this a couple of times. And come down the bottom now. But don't be too keen to throw your foil away. You'd be surprised how much is left on it when you think you've finished using it. As long as you can still see a colour on it, there's still colour to come off. There we go. There we go. Right, so let's have a canter through today's toils. It's these two big ones. One we used foil on, proper foil, and one we used... this one we used foil, this one we used leaf. So you see at the end of the day, yeah, I think this wins the sparkle stakes, but only just, and it's not worth the excess hassle. That one we used leaf for as well. This one. This one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's a nice one, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 tags. So I think it was worth it. I hope you like them as much as I do. It's not just me blowing my own trumpet here. I think they'll be very useful when it comes to putting tags into your BoHo journal, and you've already got these made and ready to rock. So don't forget, you can use any colours that you like. I've selected my favourite colours as it goes, but you could use anything. Make them monochrome if you wanted to. So I'll be back with you soon with part 3 of the BoHo journal. I hope you've enjoyed this and learnt something. Thanks very much for joining me. See you soon. Take care. Bye.